Hey everyone, got a new Player of the Week section on eFootball. There's also a Champions League Player of the Week selection. I'll be reviewing that and I'll upload that in the next hour or two, hopefully, so keep your eyes out for that. As always, timestamps in the description for each player, so if you want to hear about particular players, click the description, there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So let's have a look at who we got this week. Got 1 4-star, Camara from Bassey in France. So yeah, it's an upgrade on his base card. It's a 4-star. You know what to expect. It's not going to be a brilliant card. Not got a great deal of pace. Physical's alright for an attacking midfielder. Balance not brilliant. Stamina's okay. Good defenses for an attacking midfielder. On the ball, he's tidy with his ball control, but he's not going to be much of a dribbler. I wouldn't ask too much of him when you're on the ball. Passing is good at 87, low pass. Lofted, not so great. Finishing decent for attacking midfielder. Whole player playing style. So yeah, he's kind of got some of the essentials, but not looking too brilliant. The defense is quite high for an attacking mid. If you look at his base card, he's normally a box-to-box. He can play centre mid or defensive mid. So he's obviously that type of player who played a more attacking role this week. If you look at the skills, soul control is nice. First-time shot, one-touch pass. I don't see through passing though. So I'm not sure attacking mid's really his best position. He might be best used the way he normally is supposed to be used in more of a kind of centre mid. Got interception, sliding tackle, and fighting spirit. So yeah, he's got some defensive skills to go with those attributes. He's got one-touch pass, but not through passing, so could do a job as an attacking mid. I think he's probably better suited to playing as a kind of attacking centre midfielder with a bit of defensive ability there. But I think even then, it's very much a 4-star card. So yeah, unless you support the team he plays for, or you've got some other reason to want to sign him, I don't think it's a particularly great card, to be honest. Kelleher from Liverpool. So we have a booster goalkeeper. We'll hit the boost straight away. So as you can see there, when you get your game plan boost, this is going to be a very strong keeper. With a good enough manager, awareness and reflexes will both be 90 plus. Catching and parrying are both pretty high. Reach is pretty decent as well, 6'2". They've given him a low punt, doesn't normally have that. So yeah, with the boost, a very, very solid goalkeeper, to be honest. Without the boost, a reasonable goalkeeper, not quite so amazing. You know, the awareness mid-80s, reflexes likewise, but certainly if he gets A form, I think it's a very good goalkeeper card, to be honest. I'll keep an eye on the distribution though. Low and lofted pass are pretty low. It's not the most important thing for a keeper, but if you do ever play it back to your keeper, I'd be probably just pressing square and just booting it downfield, get rid of it, because you might find his passing's pretty terrible. But yeah, where it counts, this guy is very good, especially with an A plan with A form. So yeah, good goalkeeper card. If he's not on A form, I think I probably wouldn't be too inclined to use him, but with A form, certainly very, very strong. Minamino. So we have one of these cards where I look at the base card trained on auto allocation, and it's a frustrating one because if you train his base card up to maximum level with the auto allocation of his points, ball control goes 5 higher, tight possession goes 5 higher. I don't understand why they would nerf any of the stats on a Player of the Week card. They should keep all of them as good as the base card as a minimum and then increase some of them. Why decrease some of them, especially some of the most important ones for an attacking midfielder or a winger? I just think it's utterly senseless. But yeah, what do I know? Passing is a bit worse as well, but finishing's a bit better. They made him a bit quicker. And that's about it, really. So yeah, some attributes a bit better, some attributes a bit worse. They've given him right midfield as a position, normal playing style. He's versatile. You look at he's a booster. I didn't even notice. What do we get? So they make him even quicker. So he does get a nice boost to his pace, his balance as well. So that's good. But if we look at his skills, long range curl, long range shooting, first time shot. So with 80 finishing, he's definitely got a shot on him. One touch passing, through passing as well. Outside curl is nice, but the thing is, one touch passing, through passing, his passing is not that great. It's not going to give him good passing. It's just going to improve it from a level which really isn't that high. I mean, it depends what position you play him in. If you're playing with right wing as a right footer, you can't cross it. If you're playing with attacking midfielder, his passing is nowhere near good enough. Centre forward, his attacking awareness isn't good enough. I think really you're going to use this guy SS or wide left, to be honest. He's got good pace, he can dribble, good balance as well, and he's got a shot on him. And if you're playing him as in those kind of attacking areas, wide left or just behind the attack, he can probably get away with his passing being not quite so great. But yeah, certainly I think in those two positions, wide left or as an SS, I think he could be pretty dangerous. Good finishing, But again, you compare him to his base card, I don't understand why, albeit they've improved some of his attributes, they've made some of them worse, and they're important attributes that they've made worse as well. And I just think that's just senseless. It's very frustrating, but it is what it is. But if you look at the card in isolation, I think it could be a fairly useful player in certain positions, I think, especially wide left and SS. But 1-2 attributes I could do with being a bit higher, even if you discount the fact that they're higher on his base card, to be honest. So yeah, he's got some qualities. He's versatile, nice playing style, good skill set as well. 1 or 2 flaws, but yeah, could be a decent card to pick up. This is an interesting one. So we've got Rafa Silva. They've made him a centre-forward goal poacher. So he's normally a whole player, very versatile, can play out wide or through the middle. But again, we have to compare him to his base card. And, we'll start with the skills. They're giving him first-time shot. I think they're giving him pinpoint crossing as well, but first-time shot's the important one. With pinpoint crossing, he can't cross it. 68 off the pass. You can forget about that. But first-time shot and making him a goal poacher centre-forward, you've basically got a card where it's just a different version. It's not a big boost. You compare this guy to his base card, he's got less pace, he's got worse dribbling, ball control, type possession. Not a big difference, but they've all been slightly decreased from his base card. But obviously the change is attacking awareness and finishing are higher, significantly higher. So this is very much just a different version. It's not better all around. It's not like if you get this card and you play him in the same positions as his base card, it's worse. So the only real benefit to this card over his base card is if you play him as a striker, because he can now play centre forward. He has the play style goal poacher and all the qualities he normally has, albeit he doesn't have quite as much of them because they've reduced a load of his attributes. He does now have decent awareness, decent finishing and first time shots. So looking at him as a pacey goal poacher, I think it's a pretty tight card, to be honest. Pretty good pace, pretty good balance. Awareness and finishing, like I say, are decent for a striker. He's got first time shot. Low pass, 82 is good for a striker, especially with the through passing skill. On the ball, he's very nice for a striker. So getting him behind, you don't just have to run onto the ball and dispatch it. You can hold it up, you can dribble past defenders. Yeah, I think it's not an elite level card by any means, but I think as a pacey goal poacher, it could be very tidy. It's a very useful card. So as an alternative version of a player who I personally like a lot, I think it's a pretty neat looking card. So now we have Akanji from Man City. So they've given him sliding tackle. That's about it skill wise. He's got heading, air superiority. He's got pretty much all the skills you want for a centre back. The one drawback with this guy, 81 defensive engagement, is too low. That's a real shame. You look elsewhere, he's pretty solid defensively. He's got pretty good pace for a centre back. Jumping and physical are pretty decent. Heading's not the best, but with a good enough manager, you should hit 80 with your game plan boost. Passing's had a bit of a boost from his base card. His defensives haven't really changed much, to be honest. They're about the same. He has had a boost to his pace, though. So, yeah, the pace and the passing boosted a bit from his base card. They're giving him sliding tackle, but that's about it. And like I say, you look at it in isolation, you forget about the base card. It's a pretty solid centre-back card, destroyer playing style, but it's just that defensive engagement. Mostly a pretty good, solid card, but 81 defensive engagement for me just isn't good enough. So a little bit disappointing in this card, but apart from that, he does have a lot of qualities. And we have another centre-back. We have a left-footed, build-up centre-back, Bassey from Fulham. Can play left-back. I think he's normally a left-back. Certainly has been able to play there for a while now, but with those technicals, I don't think I'll be playing him at left-back. I think some people would look at this card and think he could be a good defensive left-back. He's just about got the pace, good defensives. I personally don't think he's going to be tidy enough on the ball. The passing's not brilliant either, but as a centre-back, what I would look at is, as you probably noticed yourself, the defensive awareness, defensive engagement, both 82. That's not particularly good. He's lacking in both of those, and they're very important attributes for a centre-back. Obviously, two of the most important. Tackling is good, though, at 87. Passing is quite nice. Looking at his base card, they have boosted his passing a bit. They've boosted his pace a bit. Not a lot of difference with his defensives, to be honest. In fact, his defensive engagement is 4 lower than his base card. So again, I don't know why they make one of his key attributes worse than his base card. Bit more on his physicals. Yeah, he's had a bit of a boost all round. Mainly just quicker and better passing. They've given him a bunch more skills though. You see he's got man marking, interception, blocker, acrobatic clearance, sliding tackle, fighting spirit, and then aerial superiority in the air as well. So good selection of skills. First time shot, I don't think that's too useful, but yeah, I think if you like this guy, it's a more usable version of him, based on the fact he's got a bunch more skills, a bit more pace, better passing, but they could have done more with the defensive attributes. I think that's the thing, and certainly with the awareness engagement being only 82, that for me just prevents it from being a good enough card for me on the whole. But there are qualities there. If you're a Fulham fan especially, it could be a fun one to pick up, and he has a lot of pace for a centre-back as well. So yeah, 2 of his key attributes just too low, but there are some qualities there. So some people might like this card, but for me personally, it's just those 2 defensive attributes that just mean he doesn't quite make the grade for me. We have Raphinha from Bassey, so we have had better versions of Raphinha, but for what he is, for what he's good at, prolific winger, wide right or left, great pace, balance is okay, great dribbling. That's what you're looking at. He's one of these wide forwards who's a quick kind of dribbler. Looking at the skills, they've given him long range curler. I think if you're going to play him on the right as a left footer, that is a really nice skill for them to have added. Acrobatic finishing is a nice one to have as well. He's got heel trick, outside curler, and of course a bunch of dribbly stuff for the dribblers. So yeah, I think for the dribblers who like having a pacey player in these wide positions, you can cut inside, take it past defenders, could be a really nice card. Like I say, there have been better versions of Raphinha, but if you don't have one, it could be a decent one to pick up. But again, I hate to keep ranting about this, but if you look at his base card, trained to the maximum with auto allocation, they've reduced his ball control by 6. They've reduced his tight possession by 6, and his dribbling by 1. So I don't understand why. Pace is a little bit higher than it normally is. And finishing has been boosted as well. So a bit more pace and finishing, but what this guy is best at is on the ball, and with the ball control and tight possession getting a significant decrease, that just annoys me. I think, to be honest, I probably prefer the base card. I think on the whole it feel a bit nicer on the ball. So yeah, it's another frustrating one based on what they've done compared to his normal kind of GP version. But if you look at it in isolation, like I say, as a wide forward, pace, dribbling can be very effective. Long range cards are a very nice skill to add, but comparing that to the base card, again, there's some decisions they made that to me just don't make sense, and that's very frustrating. And of course, when someone plays well against my team, they put him in Player of the Week. Thanks, Konami, as always. So Kiwior, they've made him a defensive fullback, left back, and he's got some qualities. You compare him to his base card, he's got a lot more pace, he's got a lot more stamina, he's much better on the ball, he's got much better passing, but they've made his defensive attributes worse. That's comparing him to his base card if you give his base card the auto allocation. So as with a lot of these cards, good in some ways, not so much in other ways if you're looking at it as a comparison to the GP version that's available. But certainly, if you're going to use this guy as a left back, and with the defensive forward playing style that he's got as a defensive left back, is a big upgrade. The base card's a build up, but I think as a defensive left back, he's a bit lacking in pace. He's pretty dodgy on the ball there as well. He's not going to be too comfortable in possession. But if you don't mind that, if you don't mind too much of the slight lack of pace, I mean, the acceleration should hit 80 with a good enough manager with the game plan boost. But yeah, a slightly slow defensive left back, I think is where it'd be best. If you look at the skills, they've added a few skills there. So all he's normally got is blocker and sliding tackle. They've given it interception and one-touch pass and heading. So some very nice skills to add. Yeah, I think ultimately the best use of this card is as a left back that's just slightly lacking in pace and not great on the ball. As a centre back, the fact they've nerfed his defences, I don't think he's quite good enough to make it as a centre back. He's kind of a 4-star centre back, really. Defensive midfield, don't think he's good enough technically. His passing is not good enough. And yeah, as a left back, I think it's just that lack of pace. So best used as a left back, could do a job, but a bit lacking in pace. I think ultimately, and I'm not just being salty because he played well against my team, but I think out of his 3 positions, he's pretty much a 4-star player in all 3 of them. So it's not a brilliant card, but I think for Arsenal fans especially, it's a different version of him, and it could be a nice upgrade to have if you really like this player. But otherwise, yeah, like I say, in all 3 positions, I just don't think he's quite a 5-star player, really. And then we have Luka Modrić. So came off the bench, scored a nice goal, long ranger. What have they given him? Super sub. Of course they're giving him super sub. So he's got his usual skills, his shooting, his passing. Now he's a super sub version, and it's a box to box as well. So Modrić normally is an orchestrator. He's got the same positions he normally has. If you're playing box to box, if you're playing centre mid, his box to box play style will be active. He's got interception, but his defences aren't brilliant. His physical's not too great. I'm not sure he's best as a centre mid unless you have 1 or 2 midfielders behind him doing the defensive work, in which case I'm not sure if he's going to get close enough to your attack. I think the best way to use this guy might be as an attacking midfielder. I've got a version of him from a previous La Liga pack. I use him as an attacking midfielder. I like him in that position. Get the full use of his real strengths. Not the quickest now, obviously he's getting on a bit, but very good balance. And down the left here, they've done a nice boost on his ball control compared to his base card. Outside of that, it's similar to his base card. The passing's a bit lower than the base card, fully trained. So again, a bit frustrating. I don't know why they keep doing that, but the finishing's had a boost. Unsurprisingly, the boost is finishing after that long range shot that he scored with. So yeah, it's a slightly different version of him. I personally don't think enough has changed from his base card to make it that worthwhile spinning for, unless you get him for a free spin. If you're going to use him as a centre mid, then box to box might be a more preferable playing style compared to orchestrator. I think that's probably the one thing really, in addition to the fact his finishing's a bit better. So yeah, in isolation, a very good card, technically very sound. If you don't like slow players, you might not like it too much, but yeah, a lot of qualities there. But I think compared to his base card, it's just the playing style and the fact that his finishing's a bit better. Those are the only changes. So not the most exciting version of Modrić, but and of course super sub. Can't forget super sub. So if you're going to bring a creative midfielder on second half, if you need a goal, I don't think there are many better players to create something for you. You can create a goal, but certainly you can score one as well with the boosters finishing. So yeah, not the most exciting version of Modrić, but as a super sub, there's a couple of changes there, finishing as well. So it could be a nice one to pick up. And then we have a fox in the box version of Vlahović. So usually as a poacher, this is I think the second time they've made him a fox in the box. And it's an interesting one because they've actually nerfed his attacking awareness a bit. But I'm not going to rant too much about that because they've improved him in a whole bunch of other areas. This is a booster card. We'll boost him straight away. So what do we get? Ball control, finishing, and the kicking power and physical contact. So that's pretty interesting. Let's just start with the skills, see what they've done with his skills. They've given him heading, and they've given him aerial superiority. I'm not sure if he normally has one-touch pass. I'm having a quick look on his base card. He doesn't. They've added a few skills, actually. So they've added heading. They've added one-touch pass. They've added aerial superiority. There might be another one that I'm not noticing that's been added. But yeah, some nice additions. The most recent version that I reviewed of him is either the current or previous Serie A pack. I was saying how it's frustrating to have a striker who's tall and powerful, who's not good in the air, but they've obviously given him the heading and aerial superiority. I don't think they've given those skills to him before. So he's now going to be a lot more competent from crosses. Still doesn't have great jumping, but he's about 6'3". The physical is very high. So if he's on A form, you get that boost. With a decent enough manager, your game plan boost should see the physical contact hit 90. Kicking power likewise. They boosted his pace a little bit from his base card. Likewise, the physical contact. And although his attacking awareness has been nerfed a bit, he's better on the ball, significantly better on the ball. So his hold-up play should be better, especially with his passing getting a boost as well. His passing looks about 10 higher than his base card. Finishing's about what it usually is, but with the boost, like you see there, 89, that'll be 90 plus with the game plan boost. So yeah, for me, this is a very good version of Vlahović. The two things to keep in mind really, fox in the box playing style. If you prefer a goal poacher, you might not like this so much. Attacking when it has been decreased a bit, that might concern you. For me personally, it is a concern, but they boost him in so many other ways. Bit of speed, a lot more on his technicals. That's key for me. I like a striker who's big and strong, but with a bit of mobility, you can hold the ball up. I like playing a fox in the box as a lone striker, and I think this guy is really well built for that. For me personally, this is the most appealing version of Vlahović that there's been. So yeah, he's got a bit of everything. It looks like a very, very capable striker. For me personally, I want this version more than any version of Vlahović I've seen before. I would quite like to get this card. So it's certainly a very different Vlahović card to what we've seen before. I think it's a pretty good one. And we finished with Dybala. Got a hat-trick against Torino. Deep line forward. I'm I'm not sure if he's always a deep line forward. I think he's a creative playmaker a lot of the time. Just having a quick look on eFootball Hub. Yeah, he is. So, change his play style. Comparing to his base card again, it's not a huge difference. You get what you expect from Dybala. They've actually made him a little bit worse on the ball, but the boost is attacking awareness and finishing. Pretty much what you'd expect from a guy who scored a hat-trick, obviously. Skill-wise, he's got pretty much what you'd expect. I think long-range shooting has been added. Just having a quick check on eFootball Hub again. Yes, they've given him long-range shooting. They've also given him one-touch pass and through passing, which is really nice. So he doesn't have the best passing. You can see on his positions there, he can play attacking mid. I don't think his passing is good enough for attacking mid, even with those skills. I like passing to be well into the 80s for that position. But as an SS or a centre forward, very nice passing. I think wide right, he's probably not got the pace. Some people won't mind him lacking pace in that position. It depends on how you like to use players in that position. But that deep line forward playing style won't be active wide right. It won't be active attacking midfield either, so keep that in mind. But as an SS or centre forward, I think that's where he's best. You make use of the fact they're giving him a nice boost on his attacking awareness and his finishing. With a decent enough manager, the boost will get that to 90 for both awareness and finish, which is fantastic. And when you couple that with the fact that he's got long-range shooting and long-range curler, he's going to have a hell of a shot on him, first-time shot as well. He's definitely capable of scoring goals, but with one-touch pass and through passing being added, he's got a decent pass on him as well, especially if you play him at SS or centre forward. Nice passing attributes. Like I say, they're not the best pace, but he's not too slow either, just kind of average pace. Kicking power has been boosted actually from his base card. It's a nice boost they're given to him there. And again, that should hit 90 in the game plan boost with a decent enough manager, likewise balance. So yeah, if you like that deep line forward playing style, I don't really. I think you need to have that another striker alongside him, probably a poacher, maybe a fox. So this guy drops deep with his playing style, and he can kind of create something or get some shots away. Obviously, very capable of that. If you like that playing style, centre forward or SS, I think this could be a really effective card. As I mentioned, that they have nerfed his ability on the ball a little bit, but compared to his base card. So it's frustrating that they're doing that with a lot of these players. I don't think any attributes should be lower than they normally are. I think they should be as good as they normally are as a base, and then some of them should be increased, which they are. But yeah, they have increased a few. So keep that in mind. Depends how you want to use him, but if you keep that in mind, you keep the playing style in mind, you look at the improvements they've made and made him much more capable as a centre forward, in my opinion. I think it's a really nice card. So yeah, I think for Roman fans and anyone who likes this player, it could be a very nice card to pick up. So yeah, some decent ones in there. I don't think it's a great selection on the whole, to be honest. I think if you look at a lot of these cards, I think it's a Kelleher, when he's on A form, could be a really capable goalkeeper. I think he's a very solid looking goalkeeper. Rafa Silva, if you've got another version of him, he's useful as a striker, but he's not an improvement in any other position. But certainly as a striker, looks like a pretty neat one, very neat one. I think Modrić, Vlahović, Dybala, very good ones as well. But outside of that, nothing particularly great. So yeah, as it often is, a bit of a mixed bag. Some decent ones in there, some duds in there as well. But yeah, there's a few in there certainly that I'd quite like to get. So there you go. Like I say, the Champions League player of the week selection, I'll be reviewing that, and I'll be putting that live hopefully in the next hour or two. So keep your eyes out for that. But thank you for watching this one. Hopefully you found it useful, and I'll see you soon.